undo the spotlight and undo the winker from up inside. Then take a screwdriver and a rag, put the rag there so you don't scratch the paint, and ease that out. Okay, put that carefully to one side, and then 17mm. Undo both of those. Okay, we've got the other side out. These are on a sliding mount, so we should just be able to draw the bumper off like that. Easy as that. So we'll put that down carefully and we'll put that away safely. Next, we'll take this cover, wind deflector, off. That's an 8mm up in the corner there. We've taken that off. 8mm socket. And I'll get the rest of these off here. The rest of them are just self-tapping screws. Come on. It's tight. We've undone the 3 screws inside, so we'll ease the grill out. Now, I've done that already. You can obviously see it's a bit of a struggle. So if you can, bring that clip off with the grill. So the clip fits in that hole there. Now on the other side, it's broken off. So try and get the clip out with the grill. It's a bit fiddly, you've got to squeeze with your fingers, get your fingers up there, but that'll save the end of the grill. This end is gone, it's been broken off and glued. So that's what happens when you try and pull the grill out of the clip. So bring the clip out with the grill if you can, and then that'll save the end. Next we're going to remove the bonnet. So you can remove the bonnet from here or from here, from the front. So if you remove from here, it's a two-handed job really to line the bonnet up. If you remove it from here, because we're taking the grill off anyway, so it doesn't matter, you can do it on your own. Okay, so I'm going to rotate that. So there's one of them horrible spring clips on. So I have been up the back of it and loosened it off. Oh, that's tight. 13mm on them. Yesterday I sprayed everything with WD, so it's made it a bit easier to get off. Take this shield off the intercooler, 3 10mm bolts, top and bottom, into the body of the intercooler. That will reveal the clips on the side of the radiator pipes. Take the bottom pipe off and drain the fluid into a clean bucket. Next, move that a bit. Next, oil cooler. 10mm bolts, 3 of, and sometimes there's a clip at the bottom on the pipe as well. Take that off. Just put that to one side. You don't need to remove the pipes on that. Just take that to one side. That, you've drained the radiator, you've taken the pipes off the radiator, so the radiator can come out. Radiator, 2 13mm bolts. They go into these items here, which go up through the rubber grommet, so that goes into there. These will, they're supposed to be captive, but that'll often turn, so you'll have to get a pair of moleys or a screwdriver up underneath there to hold that. So there's 2 of those. Take those out. Take your screwdriver and just give that a little squeeze up, and that'll come out. Put that on there, pull that out. You've released the hoses, release the plugs for the fan motor, and that just sits on 2 rubber mountings, so you can lift that straight out. So that's out. Undo this, it goes through there on the intercooler, and draw the intercooler out. It's the same as the radiator on 2 rubber bungs at the bottom, so we can just draw that out. Okay, so we'll put that down safely, and I'll put those around that and the radiator around the back of the car, keep them safe. We'll remove this air inlet pipe. I forgot to mention we should have already removed the air filter, so that's bolted to the gearbox, so you've got to undo that, undo the Jubilee clip round there, undo the Jubilee clip round there, and draw it off and put that to one side. Now, a good way to confirm a worn turbo is look at this pipe. Whichever way it goes, at the bottom fills up with oil. So if the turbo seals are allowing oil through, it fills this pipe up slowly but surely. So as you take your foot off the gas, the inlet manifold vacuum builds up, sucks the oil into the engine and makes the smoke. So I've removed all the pipes and labelled them. That's really important because there's quite a lot, and you will forget. Undone the mountings, undone these. I've undone the back bolt in there and drawn it off, so I can lift that turbo off now. So it's heavy. So we'll put that there. And that's off. Put that on the bench. So we can see inside that gasket's knackered. So what we'll do is we'll ring AE car and get a new one. That's on its lost legs, that. This is how your engine compartment should look with the turbo off, stripped. You can never make yourself enough space. We've got the air filter out of the way, intercooler, everything out of the way, bonnet off, grill, all that malarkey. What we're not doing, we're not taking the oil cooler off, that can stay there on the bumper brackets. What we will do while we've got space is change the oil filter. Now, one of the features of a worn turbo is that it dirties the oil. The combustion waste mixes with the clean oil that's pumping through the turbo and makes the oil dirty. Now this is the oil we took out of the car. Now there you can see that's filthy. Here's the turbo on the bench. Now these nuts are a ball ache to get off because you can't get access to that bottom one. And the access to that one is difficult. You can't get a ring spanner on some of them, so you've got to do it in an open ender. So the open ender, of course, won't grip them, so you've got to chisel them off. So I must admit, I didn't take this off. I took it to the turbo man. You can see that this is the reconditioned turbo. So when I took it to the turbo man, I left them on. Because he'll take the compressor area off and get access to these bottom bolts. So I'm afraid I did make him earn his money. We can get this one off, we can get access to these, okay. But again, we've soaked them in WD the night before, so that loosens them, that will give you a bit of a chance. But in all honesty, I left them on when I took it to the turbo man. He can let him get them off. Now here, that's you can just see that's the end stud into the head, which I'm talking about you can't get access to. Now, if you can't get it out because of the exhaust flange anyway, so you've got to undo it and draw the manifold off. You know, once you've done it once, you'll learn the trick of it. It's easy. So the exhaust outlet, there's no gasket on that, but I'll clean that up. It's a little bit worn there. Here we've got a bit of rust, so I think we might get away with that. So I'll clean this up and clean that up, so there's a good contact. Also, I'll wire brush all these bolts, clean that off. I've got a new gasket for that from a car. Here's our manifold. That needs seriously cleaning. There's a new gasket. So we'll give that a good cleaning. Now, there was no gasket on this. And speaking to Gary at GP Turbos, he advised against fitting a gasket. There is a gasket. He said you can have a gasket, a stainless steel gasket if you want, but he advised against fitting it because the temperatures are so high right there. He's known a drop of water to flick onto the boiling hot stainless steel and it's popped it. So he said the best thing to do is clean that, just put it metal to metal. It gets so hot in there, leave it as it is. I've cleaned the manifold with a block and some good coarse paper, and then finished it with some 120. So that's not too bad. It looks a bit rough, but the outside doesn't matter. It's just the interior that matters. So we've cleaned that. I've cleaned that area, that flange. I've cleaned that up so it fits on there nicely. Given that a clean up and just given that there a little flat down so that all the mating surfaces are clean. So I'm going to put that back together now. I've got a new gasket for there, got a new gasket for that, got a new exhaust gasket from a car, and I've got some a few new studs and some nice nuts for the manifold. So I'm going to get this assembled now. So you can only get one of these with a socket. The rest you've got to get with an open ender. So make sure it's on, and just give it an easy it on with a when you tighten him up. Just a little tap, so you don't open the jaws and round the nut, but just give it a little tap, and that'll make sure they're tight. So we can just get that on there and just sneak in a little tap and make sure it's good and tight. Because this is a conical fitment and needs to go on evenly, do the 3 nuts up evenly. Don't tighten one and go back to it because it'll be a bit crooked. We want it to go on straight. So you go 1, 2, 3. So we've tightened them up. So I'll do the same process. What I'll do is I'll just give them, make sure they're nipped up. I've done the others, so they're good and tight. I'm happy with that. That's a good conical fitment, no gasket. So the last thing we've got to do, because we won't be able to get to it, this is the back. We need to fit, where have I put it? We need to fit that on there, water feed, because if we don't, we won't be able to do it when it's on. So I'll give this a clean and make sure the copper gaskets are okay. I'll give that a clean and I'll fit that. I've cleaned up the head, given the gasket surfaces a nice scrub up. Come on. So that's ready for the gasket. I got some new studs from a car. So the short thread goes into the head, so we can wind that in put the exhaust lock nut on. They're new, so they've got a good spring in them. So that is tight, is a tight enough fit to just wind the stud into the head. Okay, so now we can just release the nut. So those studs are in the head. We'll reuse the long ones. I'll clean them up, but I'll put some new nuts on. So we'll put the gasket on there, and we can mount the turbo on it. Right, the gasket's in place. Now, the first thing you want to do is put that oil pipe on, because if you don't put it on now, you won't get it in. You won't get it on later. So in fact, that's the first thing we put on. We squeeze that over its pipe now, because you won't be able to do it later once the turbo's in place. So that's our pipe. And there are the studs. Right, that's on. The bottom oil pipe's on. It's on its studs. I'm going to do that up, tighten these studs up, not forgetting the washers, and we'll call it a day for now.